Payment and recovery of rent. Section 131, Hypothecation of produce towards payment of rent. So, the produce of a holding shall be deemed to be hypothecate for the payable in respect thereof, until the demand for such rent has been satisfied. No other claim on such produce shall be enforced by sale in execution of a decree of any civil or revenue court or otherwise. Section 131 is talking about the presumption as to payment by the tenant. So, any payment that is made by the tenant from whom rent is due to the landholder to whom it is due, it shall be in the absence of evidence of contrary intention on the part of the tenant, we deem to be a payment on account of rent. Section 132 is about the application of rent payment. So, a payment that is made by a tenant to his landholder, whether in satisfaction of a decree or in otherwise, then it shall not be applied to the discharge of any arrear recovery of which is barred by law for the time being in force to limitation of suits and application. Subsection 2 is subject to the provision contained in subsection 1 when tenant makes payment on account of rent to his holder with the express intimation that he wishes the payment to be credited to any years or installments or holding the payment if accepted it shall be credited accordingly. The tenant make no such intimation, then the landholder shall credit the payment to an earlier arrear in preference to a later arrear. When more than one arrear is of the same date, then it should be to a similar arrear in preference to a larger arrear. Section 133 is the rent payable. So, a payment of money rent may be made by the tenant to the landholder either direct or by postal money order or by a deposit in accordance with the provisions of section 139. There is a proviso for this that says that the acceptance by the landholder of a sum paid by the postal money order or if it is paid by deposit in court, it shall not be itself or by virtue of anything written on the money order coupon be deemed to be constitute an admission by him the amount rent payable or due on account of any particular year installment or holding or an admission of the payer tenant. Section 134 is the presumption as to money order acknowledgement. So, when rent is sent by postal money order, then in the case of acceptance, the payee receipt. In the case of refusal, the endorsement on the money order it should be duly stamped by the post office. It shall be admissible in evidence without formal proof. It shall, until the contrary is proved, be presumed to be a record of such acceptance or refusal. Section 135 is the right of tenant to receipt. So, every person who makes a direct payment on account of rent or sale shall be entitled to obtain forthwith from the landholder a written receipt for the amount that is so paid, signed by the landholder or his duly authorized agent. Subsection 2 of section 135 is this that the landholder shall, from the book printed under the provisions of 137 section, should give a separate receipt for each sum that is paid on account of rent or sale shall retain portfolio of each receipt given by him. Subsection 3 is this that if any suit or proceeding between the landholder and a tenant in which the payment of rent is the dispute is the issue, then the landholder does not produce or when ordered by the court to produce fails to produce such receipt to book, then the court may make any presumption against the landholder which it considers reasonable. Section 136 is the particulars that are to be there in the receipts, like the name and the parentage of the payer, the name of the village, the amount that is to be paid, whether the payment is on account of rent or whether there is more than one holding, the year and the installment, and whether the payment has been accepted as payment in full or in part, the date on which it is paid, and such other particulars that are prescribed. Subsection 2 of section 136 is this, that if a receipt does not contain substantially the particulars required by this section, or if a joint receipt for rent and given in the contravention of subsection 2 of section 135, then it shall be presumed until the contrary is shown to be an acquittance in full of all demands for rent and for payer up to the date the receipt was given. Section 137, obligation of government to print and supply book of receipts. So it is the obligation on the state government to shall cause to be printed and kept for sale cost price of all tehsils book of receipts with counterfoils in the prescribed form. Proviso for this is, if no printed books are available in tehsils on any particular date, then the landholder shall be entitled to get a certificate from the tehsildar that no such books were available. The landholder shall then issue to the tenant to a tentative receipt giving substantially the particulars that are prescribed in section 136 above. Now section 138. It talks about the right of tenant to the statement of account. So the tenant shall, in accordance with the rules that are made by the state government, be entitled on paying a fee of 4 annas to the landholder to receive from him within 3 months after the end of an agricultural year, a statement of account specifying such particulars as may, from time to time, be prescribed either generally or for any particular local area or class of cases. Section 139 talks about the deposit of rent in the court of Tehsildar. Section 140 is the disposal of deposit by Tehsildar. Section 141 is the deposit of rent in court when there is pendency of suit. Section 142 is the bars of suits. 143 is about the sections from 139 to 142 when inapplicable. So there are certain times when these sections are not applicable. So this section is talking about those conditions. Section 144 is the right and liabilities in respect of produce. Section 145 is the rent in kind to be recoverable by actual division of the produce. Now, section 146 is the no cartage allowed. When rent is paid in kind and the landholder shall not claim or receive any additional quantity of the produce or its money equivalent by way of cartage for conveying his share of the produce to his own residence or to any marketplace. Section 147 is talking about collector is supposed to publish return of current prices. So, within 1 month of the end of operations in a tehsil or as soon thereafter as by week, the collector is supposed to prepare in the prescribed manner a return of market process current to the harvest time to all the food and non-food crops grown in such tehsil. Returns to prepared shall be accepted for assessing the money value of the produce and holding. There is a provision for this, that if the state government is under any law for the taxation and force, the price of the agricultural produce, and such price shall be accepted for making such kind of assessment. Section 1 is about the to make division estimate or appraisement. Section 149 is about the procedure on such application. So, what kind of procedure is to be followed on such kind of application? be on the date later date of which kind of application placed in such process shall diffuse such estimate of premium shall be made. If opposite party objects the is not payable by is not based on estimate of premium crop for that to be made, the officer shall report the objection to be made. Such officer shall call upon each party and shall himself appoint the resident of the neighborhood as the assessor to assist in division of the produce for an estimate of the crop. If the either party feels content or refuses to appoint any assessor, then such officer has to nominate an assessor on his behalf. Such officer shall record the opinion of the assessor in making his in case the parties agree to the manner of division proposed by the officer, then the division shall be made accordingly. If the parties is not agree to such manner of division or of his claim that the effect is favor, then such officer shall make a estimate to the value of the produce tehsildar. Notice shall be issued to the parties that the account has been delivered. Also, in case where any party objects the rent is not an estimate but a crop or division of the produce, so that the amount is paid, that the proportion of the produce claimed by the landholder as it is fair, it when it is really due, then the tehsildar shall not decide such kind of proportion, but shall direct the party decided by court within jurisdiction in such kind of cases. Section 9. If tenant refuses to furnish bond in subsection A, then the tehsildar may attach the crop or its produce to some extent as he may deem necessary. Section 30 is the suit for affairs of produce based on an estimate appraisal of the crop, which is paid by the division of produce in areas and under after the provision of subsection 7 when the landholder will bring other areas. Now, talking about the installment of the road. Section 52 is about the rent in area. Section 53 is about the prohibition of arrest and detention of areas. Section 54 is the method to areas. Section 55 is just against the court evidence. And section 56 is talking about the joinder of areas. Section 57 is the decree claim areas. Section 58 is the recovery of the areas of irrigation dues. 59 is about the certain areas of 60 is about the recovery of areas in the case of government refusal